Lamism developed in Tibet in the Tang dynasty and then passed into Mongolia and northeast China. Lamism is the Buddhism practiced in Tibet. This type of Buddhism is the Indian Mahayana Buddhism, intermingled with elements Asian Tibetan religion. High person indicates great stature in the Buddhist religion. A noble man of much wisdom and good works, standing higher than all others. Therefore, that's how they're doing it. Fuck it. Fuck it then. If that's how they're doing it, I get nothing today. We'll do it the old way. Do it the old way. Gotta at least get this. It's crazy.
Common sense was made before book sense. Canaanland Moorish presents Common Sense Quick.
Legendary, bury me in the North Case. Cemetery, February the 4th case. Son of Mary, day ahead of my born day. Independence and law makes it a little of a lost case. With case laws, we bring them down like Jericho. Keeping all my lions tamed, I'm Chris Jericho. I'll keep a mask on deck, I'm Rey Mysterio. Fake pandemics announced over the radio. Annoyed with the game, the joys and the pains. I'm Bob Face, mixing with rock the hallway. I was in a lost state. Prophets told me up right, brought me to a lost gate. Cooking like I'm Sorry, rapping like I'm Denzel. Malcolm X, deja vu, Roman J, Israel. And over door, I lay in plain sight. But people still can't see it, so the snake still showing up. Stakes still high, so the race still going up. Warriors of the North Gate, we not slowing up. Born in the manger, sworn to be savior. Walk through the valley of the shadows of the death, different slavery. Looking for life, giving your genesis. Astro plane interests, invoke the nemesis. Abstract images of past lives kicking in. Danger, running for your life. Finishing.
Morris Lamar, key man oracle. Using Trinity powers, decipher allegorical. Lost in metaphorical, holy books are metaphysic. Facts like a dirty more or a duality critic. Calling him Thomas or Walter and get your face caved. Or cut like a close shave. Drowned in my brainwaves. Squash my heat waves. Activating Kundalini. Abyssinia invaded by Mussolini. Selassie I in exile. Reptile in Genesis. Negus appearing real. All I see is false evidence. They are feminists. Stomped on by elephants. Won't like no prejudice, but want Moorish benefits. When you feel the cold magnetic resonance. Apis horns of the sacred book called Maleficent. Great cosmic mothers. Return to blessedness. No pestilence. Face all the testaments. Tap into remembrance. Never to forget again. Use energy right, not put spell effects on men. Wandering the earth plane with no veil shades. Keeps you a mental slave as the horizon fades. It's been decades since Christian crusades. Not enough rebellions, too many vigil bouquets. Holding on to the fence, burning on doomsday. War ruled by Mars, it might be on a Tuesday.
Canaanland Moors presents Common Sense Quick. What we do here is we add some common sense thinking to everyday situations or comments that may arise. Want to give it a try?
Happy holy day to all the Moors worldwide, wherever you're at. Islam,
Peace, more. You there? I'm hearing you moving. There's a lot more.
Islam.
Yeah, you good?
You can hear me? Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, okay, yeah, we can hear you. Yeah, they were messing with the YouTube video, so we just had to do the one song and let's go. Happy holiday to all the Moors. We wanna start off with one of these dirty Moors out here who are straight lying to the people. I'm gonna go through a couple. Start with this one though. Now, we always tell the Moors, study, study, study. Not because this is a cool thing to say or Noble Drew Ali said that or whatever. Study, 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 because people out here are about and trying to play you. So this is more so for the new Moors, the Moors that are coming into their nationality and their birthrights. And they think this is a game out here. They think this is a game. And they have no honor and no respect for the foundation because they keep chasing after these new people who just came yesterday, the Johnny come latelys. And then they get played. And then when they get played, and then we put out the information that these people are playing, you don't go to them. People are telling us about, oh, why are you doing back and forth with people? Why are you going at your brothers and all this? Okay, let's just back this up. This is Noble Drew Ali talking. Follow this divine principle. For if you don't restrict to this divine principle, then you are not a true Moor. And the heads are not to charge for membership or to overcharge for cards, buttons, or anything issued by the Prophet. Those who contribute to either of the proceedings are not Moors but robbers. Membership, sisters and brothers, is free. Not only here, but all over the world. Islam, more, you have anything to add before we carry on?
Took a while to get out of mute.
No, it's all good, more. We got time.
Nope. Just you know, I just think that because like you was just saying, the people getting mad for when you start calling out the people who are doing wrong, you know, and to me, it's always been an issue like for that. It should be looked at the other way around. Like, I don't understand why people don't glorify the people who speak up for the right thing. Like, people don't get enough acknowledgement for speaking up for the right thing. Like, that's wrong what they're doing. Instead of bashing the person for speaking up for when somebody is doing something wrong, trying to make it seem like, oh, you guys are going back and forth. No, this guy is wrong. Go with the guy who's acknowledging and pointing out this guy is wrong. You know, that he's spreading confusion. Because I was telling the Grand Sheik earlier, it frustrates me because it starts making me question, like, what am I doing? If what I'm doing is wrong? Because, you know, I try to do the right thing. You know, I don't want to be bashing other Moors, but then I sit back and look at it. I'm like, but he's doing things that's going to harm my child. You know, like, stuff like all this color stuff that they're doing, these color activities. My son could say I'm not around or something happens to me or whatever. And my son's on his journey studying, he runs into this. And I'm not there to help correct it. You know, like nobody was there to address this issue. So my son's gonna fall, and I don't like stuff like that, where if I'm not around, my son, you know, could fall victim to one of these dirty Moors, you know, because nobody addressed the dirty Moor. They just let him go, you know. So I talked to the Grand Sheik about it, you know what I mean? And all you got to do is just look at his work. Like, it was real simple to me. Like, nah, they're trying to do children wrong. Like, no, you got to correct that. We're not going to just sit there and be like, oh, well, we're not going to go at each other. Stop. No, the way you're saying it is wrong. These people are trying to destroy the nation. And you're like, oh, you guys are going back and forth. No, they're keeping us slaves. What do you mean?
Let me add on to perspective. Let's just say, instead of calling them dirty Moors, we're going to call them pedophiles for the rest of the thing. Let's see who's going to give pedophiles the pass. We're not going to call them dirty Moors. We'll call them pedophiles because they're molesting your young mind that's like a child. So because your mind is like a child and they're molesting your mind, we're not going to call them dirty Moors and robbers and none of that stuff. We'll call them pedophiles from now on.
Yeah.
Let's see who's riding with the pedophiles now. All right? We'll put it like that. If you're riding with the pedophiles, don't get mad when you get called out. Don't get mad. Don't tell me about, you know what I mean, our brothers and all that stuff, or unity and all this. All right?
Because those are the same people that's letting uncle or whoever go around touching the children because you don't want to say nothing because, you know, that's your uncle or whatever. So y'all let the children go in there with them still because they're in there. Oh, we don't, you know, we don't want to go back and forth. So you still let your children go in there with the guy who's touching children because you don't want to go back and forth. You guys don't need to go back and forth. So you send them in there with the.
Yeah, you don't have to go back and forth with the pedophile. Let the pedophile be. Leave the pedophile alone. Kudro, why are you going at the pedophile? Yusuf, you shouldn't talk like that to the pedophile. You should let the pedophile just, you know, do what he's doing. That's how we're looking at you people now. Talking to us about don't bring up stuff. Don't put that out in the open. Don't put out that this guy's a pedophile in the open. Keep that secret. Keep that private. Oh, don't go on IG and say somebody's a pedophile. Don't do that. Keep it off IG because that's our personal stuff that we need to handle. For real? All right. You know who all you people are. You know who all you people are.
But they don't say that to the colonists when they be putting America's Most Wanted on a whole billboard. Letting the whole world know, go past the highway. This guy is the criminal. Nobody never says nothing to them. Like, oh, they'd be like, oh, what did he do? You know, they don't even address. Oh, they're coming at their own, and none of that. None of that. Only when Moors do it. When Moors do it, you're coming at your brother. These people do this all the time. Billboard. You're behind to be on a billboard if you do something wrong.
Yep.
And it'd be Europeans on the billboards.
That's how them Europeans do for European dirty Europeans.
Right.
You put them on a billboard, have most wanted lists for them. That's how they do. The Chinese or whatever, anybody that's Asian, they don't play with traitors. They don't play with traitors. If anybody's a traitor, they deal with them properly. And immediately. They don't get no second chances and all that stuff. Traitors don't get second chances. Right? Traitors don't get second chances. But we're looking at all
It's
these
all
people.
crazy.
We're looking at all these people who are dirty. We're not looking at them as dirty Moors anymore. We're looking at them as pedophiles. And anybody riding with that and giving that a pass, you're just as bad as these people. You're just as bad as them. And if you want to see unity, because we already been united as active 720-degree Moors. We've been active and we've been united. And it's you people who's confused right now about what you're looking at is why there's a problem. Right? So if you're going to let the pedophile stuff pass, we're watching you people. Now these Moors came up. Again, we're for what Noble Drew Ali brought. We're for what Noble Drew Ali represented. That's what we're for. We're not for the fictions and the different organizations and the whatever. Anybody who has an organization, when you look behind them, you should see what Noble Drew Ali brought. If you don't, that should ring some bells to you that something's wrong here. If they're saying that they're representatives of Noble Drew Ali, there would be no need for them to start a different nation and spelling stuff different than Noble Drew Ali spelt it, and saying that what they started as a sovereign state, but not recognizing what Noble Drew Ali presented as the sovereign state for all Moors. Whereas what you belong to and what you claim. If you say you're a Moor, Noble Drew Ali brought something for you. Nobody else did that. Nobody else did that. What are these people doing? Take what Noble Drew Ali brought, fashion it in some different way, and then present it to you as that's what Noble Drew Ali brought. And then you go on their website, they would have Noble Drew Ali on their website. They don't even have a representation of Noble Drew Ali on their stuff. And they're trying to tell you that they're with Noble Drew Ali and the Moors and all this. Listen, again, this is for the Moors who are just arriving, right? This is not for the people who think that, you know what I mean, whatever. No, we have Brother Bay on there, and want to give acknowledge to Rise of the Moors expanding and being in another jurisdiction, doing more than what Moor Science Temple, Grand Major, whoever, doing more than the guy who just came yesterday, creating something and saying that, oh yeah, we're the nation of the MUURs, because you know we're not MOORs, we're the MUURs, and that's our nation, right? And people talking BS about you know, well we'll do whatever we want. We're not doing whatever we want. We're doing what has to be done because our people are been played games with by their own. And then again, when we call out the pedophiles, you're not down with beating up the pedophiles. You're talking about not chill. Don't put it on social media. We're exposing the pedophiles. What do you mean don't put it on social media? What do you mean don't talk about that? And then you have people who, again, all these new people who don't know what they're talking about, and then they're looking at what Rise of the Moors is doing, and then they're saying that, well, that's not a Moorish Science Temple. Like, you can't do that because that's not Moorish Science Temple. You can't say Noble Drew Ali and then be telling people to start a study group where they're at. You can't do that. That's going against the Prophet or whatever. What are you talking about? How's that going against the Prophet, getting this information out to people? Like, how is that going against anything that Noble Drew Ali presented for Moors? That a Moor,
He said it 3 times.
Common sense, Moor using his own common sense is saying, well, there's nobody in that area or whatever, because that Moor called me personally and said, ain't nobody here that's a Moor but me. Okay, well, why? Why isn't anything there? Well, if nothing's there, let's get something there. Here's a whatever it's called for you to say your Rise of the Moors there, and you can bring people to come study. Where do you think that brilliant idea came from? That brilliant idea came from Grand Sheik Kudro, who's everybody's Grand Sheik. Who when Jamal was just in the library by himself or whatever, there's none of these other temple Moors that reached out to him and said, hey, keep doing that thing that you're doing because that's what's actually needed. And look where it is now. How come it's there? Because Grand Sheik Kudro saw something in that Moor that I know all these people aren't going to be down with because they don't have the background. They're looking at this from some one perspective, when there's a multiplicity of perspectives that the Moorish movement can exercise as, the Moorish nation can exercise. There's not only one way of doing it. The foundational way is what Noble Drew Ali brought. But every Moor is supposed to be Grand Sheik Kudro when it comes to dealing with criminal Moors. Everybody's supposed to be a Jamal's Bey when you're talking about bringing Moors together to study. Not just studying books only. Why would you study books only? Why would books only be what we do? And again, we are a branch of Grand Sheik Nature's temple. That's a Great Seal temple. And Great Seal temple means that Moor Science Temple was doing BS. He didn't want to get caught up in the BS that they were doing because what he was doing is completely opposite to what these people are doing, calling themselves Moor Science Temple. So we're going to say we're doing Great Seal Moor Science Temple so people don't get us caught up with these traders over here. And what happened? All the traders started pointing at them and calling them sovereign and all this stuff. This 2004, before any of you people were saying that you're Moors or whatever, when you're still a nigger, when they were Moors in 2004, dirty Moors were telling people don't listen to them because they're sovereign. And they're not really what Noble Drew Ali brought, but they're suing the police in New Jersey who are killing black people and whatever and bothering Moors. They're taking them to court and suing them. But they're not doing what Noble Drew Ali brought. The guys who are telling you they're sovereign citizens are doing what Noble Drew Ali brought. And then you're riding with the pedophiles. How you ride with the pedophiles? Remember 2004 when all of us were niggers still. And we didn't know anything about nationality and birthrights. There were these Moors who were dealing with the same dirty traitors that we're dealing with today that nobody wants to address. What was the thing, Yusuf, about the elephant?
Oh, my sister said, I was telling her, nobody wants to address the elephant in the room. She said, address the elephant in the room. All of them are riding the elephant in the room, acting like they don't even know what they riding. I was dying laughing. They're on the elephant. They're on it.
I just called the mothers, by the way. Once they get this,
she said they're on the elephant.
Mothers get this thing is done. You guys can play all this BS that you want to, but I just all the mothers out there, right? Showing you, talking to you, riding the elephant. Islam, brother B, and brother L.
Join the show.
Islam,
Islam. Can you hear me?
Peace.
Yeah, we hear you, sir.
Islam. I'm just listening, paying attention. I was actually on that guy like 2 years ago. This is before I came into contact with the Moorish Science Temple. I actually came in contact with him first. And it was crazy that you guys are doing the whole thing on you, because even when I seen it, I was still correcting him on that term, on the term of the whole all aniwana, all that BS and whatnot. And by the time I got done with him, I ended up getting in contact with a Moor, And that's when he started giving me certain information and stuff like that and showed me where to go before he stopped getting in contact with me. But that guy right there, that's the first guy I ended up running into and hearing about Noble Drew Ali before I went to go, you know what I'm saying, ran into another more. So that guy right there is on some total BS. Just to call him on his BS, because I did call him on every last one of his videos he did. I called him on his BS. But that right there, the $3,500, the $500, the $600 charges and stuff like that, that right there, that's the stuff that make people run away from what the real Moors are doing.
Yeah.
Because I sure the hell did. Just to be honest with you, I ran the fuck away. Just to be honest, I was like, man, that's too much. I was like, even if I did have the money, I still wouldn't pay for it. You know, like, but that's too much. And that right there would just push me away from the whole, you know what I'm saying, from the whole thing. But I still did research into who Noble Drew Ali was. But as far as the temples and stuff like that, he pushed me away from that because of that right there.
Yeah, that's the difference. You know what I mean? Because we're looking at it like their job is to do that, push people away from the movement.
Right. That's what I was just gonna say. Yep. Yep.
That's their duty.
He did his job.
It's not about teach you something wrong or you know what I mean, make you join their whatever or get your 500 or 1,000 or whatever. It's not about that. It's about getting you away from this. Because even if you're part of that, you're away from this.
But what did happen though, well, he made me mad to the point where I did go study. That's how far it took me mentally. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I'm like, I'm trying to get in contact with him, see what's up and something, and everybody's ignoring me and stuff like that. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go in and see who Noble Drew Ali was. You know what I'm saying? Since they personally don't want to, you know what I'm saying, put me in the right direction, I'll personally go, you know what I'm saying, do my studies. I went, you know what I'm saying, did my internet studies and all that other stuff. Then by the universe, somebody end up contacting me. And that's how I end up, you know what I'm saying, getting in contact with Brother Cujo through, you know what I'm saying, Instagram and social media and stuff like that, through Brother Talib Abdul, through, you know what I'm saying, his YouTube and social media. And that's how I end up, you know what I'm saying, going around. But other than that, I honestly did not, you know what I'm saying, excuse my language, fuck with anybody that was against the Constitution. Because I'm a veteran. We take an oath on that. You know what I'm saying? So when I heard Brother Talib, you know what I'm saying, and what he was doing, that's when I started getting on him, you know what I'm saying, watching his videos and like, okay, we the same people. You know what I'm saying? We went through the same shit. So of course me and him can relate. So
different relationship.
That's where
Yeah. Because the key to it too is what you said, that you're not hearing somebody talk some shit or whatever that sound good, and then that's the all and be all. Like, you went and did your own due diligence to fact check. In your fact checking, you find out that there's a veteran just like you who's on this. And from that level, you already know what's up. It's not even a question at that point, because he's right where you're at. And then you can relate. And then you wouldn't even have had that interaction like that if he wasn't doing what he was supposed to be doing.
And that's true. That's true.
Which is presented it for that perspective, because that in itself is its own realm. Only people who are in that frame of mind are really gonna get this. Like, we know Moors who even they would say, yeah, they're admittedly they got post-traumatic stress disorder and all that from military, and more science saved them from blowing off their head. Reading
because I went everywhere. You know, I went to every institution. I went to high school, different institutions every year, up to the point where I graduated a vocational college. But every year I went to a different school. I went to Monroe Middle School, who was named after Monroe, President Monroe. I went to William Taft. I went to a village out in Morocco, and that's actually out in Egypt, Georgia, called Villa Rica. And so I did my studies, and everywhere I went was the reason I joined the military, because I wanted to find more than what I was seeing and being produced here in America. So I joined the military and did travels over there to get more information, you know what I'm saying, on what was being presented, you know, in America. And what I found over in Asia was the same information that I found over here, you know what I'm saying? But over there, they tell a story of a different slavery that never happened over here, that we don't even hear about. You know what I'm saying? So over there, it's like they tell the slavery of the Indians from India who went through the British Crown slavery, but they don't tell of the American slavery. So it's like when information is being presented from different sides of the spectrum, a bunch of people don't understand the correlation that it has with Moors in America. You know what I'm saying? That's the reason that little Al-Adiwana didn't make sense to me. I had to do my research into what was Moorish and Moor and all this other stuff based on the etymology, because the information that was presented from a Moorish perspective in America is basically from a European perspective, from an invasion perspective. So when I did the due diligence on the history of the Moors, it all came back to European authors. So I had to go find Moorish authors. So that's when I ran into Timbuktu. That's when I ran into J.A. Rogers and stuff like that. But even in their writings, you can tell that they being compromised. So it's like, where do we go from here? So the further study I did on with Cujo and watching Brother Talib, the further studies I got into Noble Drew Ali by himself. So what I'm saying is, like, what Noble Drew Ali brought was a whole lane by himself. And everybody that did their due diligence took his information and they became what we call the silent millionaires. You know, the millionaires you don't see in the limelight, because the old saying goes, if you see a Moorish man being praised by the white man in the cameras, be aware of him. You know what I'm saying? Because he had to do certain shit, you know what I'm saying, to get where he at. Just like how you were saying about the consular courts and all that, and the sellout, they had to do certain shit to get where they at. And those are the people we got to stay away from, just like that dude that's on Facebook with the Al-Aniwana. That dude is a corporation that went to go file his shit with the corporate state of Michigan. He has that on his page. If you ain't never seen it, then he took it down.
Islam, brother Jamal, I know you wanted to get in there. You didn't get your soapbox and shit.
Yeah, thanks for my 30 seconds of fame, right?
yeah.
I wanted to, when you said the nigger in the limelight with the European, I kind of wanted to address that, because, and then you mentioned the consulate. When I was part of the consulate, there was definitely like a little, like a coup going on. Like it was like, when I was part of the consulate, it was Light and then there was Sharon, and both Light and Sharon were like commissioning like people who would basically lick their boots. They would appoint them as judges. So now it was basically Team Sharon versus Team Light. And anyone who's honest and was part of the consulate and left and was on those calls will tell you, a lot of those calls, it was an ego battle of Light versus Sharon. And then even within the past few months, some Moors voted her out of the consulate. They voted Light out of the consulate because Light appointed herself as the supreme judge of the consulate without anyone's say. She just appointed herself to that position. So it's sad to see Moors saying, as you stated earlier, we need to unite with these people when you don't even know who these people are. All you see is them saying Islam, holy moly, macaroni on camera, but you don't see their actions off camera because you're not paying attention. Because you're not paying attention to the details, because you're so blinded by the light. You're so blinded by unity and love that you don't see the wolf in sheep's clothing. And that has been the problem for Moors for a long, long time. Even with the Moorish American travel document, how come this guy, Sharif Ninefeathers, who was in my WhatsApp a few years ago, having me write diplomatic correspondences for him that he can translate into Chinese, so the Chinese officials have something competent to represent those Moors out there. How come he himself hasn't gone from China to here, Morocco, with that travel document and show the Moors, look, this works? But he has everything to say about it. He's selling it to you, and then he's having other people on the consulate take a picture of them on the plane, but they won't show the plane ticket in their free national name. They won't show the stamp within this alleged travel document. Because I can literally reactivate this old expired driver's license, hop on a plane, and then pull out my Moorish ID and not show you the ticket and be like, oh, look, it works. You understand what I'm saying? And people aren't thinking. And if any more honestly reads what the prophet said, he said, if I can get you to think, you would save yourself. The problem is we're not thinking.
Islam.
Wait, yo, hold on. I love what he just said. Like, I would love for him to, like, that was beautiful. That was beautiful. I would love for him to say it all, because that might have went over a lot of people's fezzes right there. You know what I mean? So, like, you might need to go in on that again, because they see these videos, and like you said, you have no idea, you know, what their ticket said, if it's on their straw or whatever. And then they get over there and they show you their free national ID, like, see, it worked. Like, that's amazing. Like, I'm glad you called that out. That's one of those uncomfortable conversations nobody want to talk about. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I know Brother Talib can agree. When we in the military, we don't show ID when we over there. That's only on the bases. That's the crazy part. When we in the military, we don't show ID to the national. We show them a piece of paper with different languages on there. And say, if you ever find this soldier with this piece of paper, please return to the military base like a postage stamp. You know, that's the crazy part. Being in the military, we never had an ID when we operated outside the bases. We only carried a piece of paper.
Can I add in on that Moorish American travel document real quick?
Now, one thing too, because I've had conversations with Moors who have it, and they say they've used it and shown. So it's not like it doesn't work, right? It's not like it doesn't work. It's work for some Moors, just like nationality card work for some Moors. There's Moors who use their nationality card, went across the waters. They're not going to put it out there because they know how niggers do. So they're keeping their stuff private, which is something that, yeah, that's your stuff. If you don't keep it private, do your thing. We won't even say your name. But we know Moors who have used their nationality card. So it's not a thing of stuff doesn't work, which is the whole point that people are missing. Because if it works, right? If it works, but then you're starting to analyze it, and then in it, it has my free national name, not capitalized. Why would I write my free national name in all common letters? But then again, if that puts me in a jurisdiction that anything goes, then of course they're gonna let it go through. It's not an issue of whether it's Moorish or whatever.
Islam.
Whether it's Moorish. Islam, more good.
Islam. Peace and love and light to everybody. Everybody, happy holy day and everything. I wanted to chime in on that. And, you know, one of the things that there's this back and forth as if, oh, this doesn't work, that doesn't work. And it's clear as day to see that we've been colonized. No matter what your train of thought is, we're obviously under some type of subjugation, regardless of whatever your nationality is. So it's not the conversation is always, oh, does this more stuff work? Does this work? Does that work? At the end of the bottom line is that we are colonized. And Grand Sheik, you and I were both talking about the fact of the lack of activity by our people. And so the lack of the lack of activity is why you see some people getting results and some people not necessarily getting the desired results. For me being at Mizraim, where I'm at, you know, there's not a lot of activity going on. And so the more people that would actually step up to the plate, and even some of the Moors Even some of us that are have proclaimed or declared our nationality are still in a state of passivity. At some point, the books gotta be put down, and then we have to put our foot forward and actually be active with this. And I see that, and I know, and somebody else can, you guys can chime in and correct me if I'm wrong. I think with some of us that the just we us knowing that our nationality has put us on a put us in a place where we are complacent. When you're complacent, then in a sense you're almost complicit in that, when in reference to, like, okay, well, I know I declare my nationality and that's good enough. No, we got to be active. And I can say it, and we've talked about it before. Everybody has a role to play. Brother Jamal, I see you, stressing to our people that, hey, you need to be training, not just training your mind or retraining your mind in relationship to birthrights and nationality. However, we need to make sure that we're exercising still. We're exercising our bodies as well as our minds, eating right, doing those things that are active. You can't be conscious part-time. Just like you can't be, you have a lot of Moors that are Moors you want to be Moors on the weekend. No, we're not doing Moors on the weekend type deal. And so when we are coming, we're coming into the age of information and us getting the knowledge and knowledge yourself. That's great. That's elementary compared to where we need to be.
Right.
Where I'm working at, I see the Manchurians or the Chinese, they got shops set up where I'm working at. They got shops set up, and it's just them. It's just it's just them and theirs with their little business that they have going on. And I seen more massage chairs than I have in my life. I mean, this shit look like Amazon. Excuse my language, but this look like Amazon in there. The way all the merchandise and different things like that they had going on, and you can tell, and I could tell, I should say, by just looking at the operation, not even trying to, really be nosy and see what's up. That doing the math, hey, they had it together. I mean, they're really out here doing business. And so for us to be active, we have to be active. We got to be doers of the work and not sayers of the work. And I see a lot of people talking out here, but there's lack of activity. What the prophet say? If you the only one, be that only one. As frustrating as it is. So, I'm frustrated with the lack of activity. And so, give thanks for, platforms like this and Rise of the Moors and House of Reawakening Minds and people out here trying to actually get this information to our people, because this ain't some church or some clique type deal that people make it out to be. This ain't some clique. The remedy is here. This divine and national movement is so we can be active, because before this, whatever train of thought we were in, there wasn't any remedy. And so we need to be actually active with the remedy that we have, as opposed to, knowing is good enough. And I see a lot of Moors even in a state of passivity. And so let me shut the hell up.
Yeah. Can I add something?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so I wanted to address the Moorish American travel document one more time. About a year ago, when I was at my old temple, Jalil Hugh L from China, who was working with Nine Feathers, and then they got into some stupid argument, so now they're not together anymore or whatever. He told me personally, the day he came to my temple, that he went to the airport with his Moorish American travel document and his U.S. passport. The only problem he had was that the ticket on the plane ticket, the name on the plane ticket was the straw man name, so they didn't accept the Moorish American travel document. So that's straight from the person that was there when that document was invented. My only problem is they're not giving Moors full disclosure. they're acting as if it works 100% of the time, and they're not going to get any pushback whatsoever. I personally have been on a plane from here to so-called Florida with my nationality card just fine. Then I tried to do it again and got opposition. So what I told Moors is, you're going to get opposition. Even when it worked the first time, they still try to. I give full disclosure to the Moors. They're going to challenge you, period.
Or for
We had a
20
Moor
times.
fly from here
Yeah.
last 2-3 weeks ago with his nationality card, and they asked for a second form of ID. So he showed them his bank card with his free national name on it. Then he tried to come back. He successfully flew from he was in like Western Philly somewhere, landed somewhere else for his what's that shit called, a layover or whatever,
Yeah.
to get on another flight. But he didn't know that his bags came straight here. So he left the gate to try to get his bags, which weren't there. So then he tried to get on, and then they gave him opposition and didn't let him get back on the flight. So I always try to deal with full disclosure for our people, because the only way we're actually going to be active and get remedy is with full disclosure, not selling dreams of, just say this and it's absolutely going to work, and just say this mantra and it's absolutely going to work. Because if we actually wanted to be unified, then those Moors over there in China wouldn't have created the Moorish American travel document. They would have just been pushing travel with your Moorish ID.
What we've been using.
Declaration on Human Rights states that you have the right to free exit and entry into any country. So we don't even need a passport, because a passport is a license. A passport is permission. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to bypass that mindset and go straight to, let's substitute a passport with this travel document, because that's going to sell. That it's not about honor, and it's not about that. You have to look beyond what they're saying, because you can't say, I'm going to publicly be for the Moors, but if we address certain things, I have to be private. That's not how this shit works. If you're going to address the people's public right, then it's public at all times.
Yep. Can't not talk about the pedophiles.
Yeah. And as it relates to business, a lot of these other nations doing business here, they submit to some degree to the IRS or to the United States government in some capacity. So we could have been all, as Moors, got EIN numbers and filed for this bullshit and had thriving businesses. But the problem is, we're sticking to not the problem. The issue is we're sticking to national principles, because money doesn't make the man. There's free national standards and principles that make a man and a nation. So we're deliberately saying F that. Some of us. And if you're not, that's fine. You have your own right to live. But those who are trying to push the IRS is anti everything, we're saying we're not submitting to them. And we're giving Moors full disclosure. Yeah, you can do business and not get an EIN, but it's gonna be hard. Or you can submit and keep resubmitting and keep reapplying for that EIN number. But just remember, once the IRS goes down, they're no longer issuing EIN numbers. And also remember, if they realize you're a Moor and you're doing positive work with that fiat, remember, you have to reapply for that EIN number. And since they're the issuing authority, they can deny you at will. So full disclosure, that has always been my issue. Just give the Moors full disclosure. Stop fucking selling dreams. Excuse my language, but I'm tired of our people selling our people dreams. That's not going to get us anywhere.
Islam, can I add something to that? Because I was just doing research on that on the EIN and all that stuff. So there's three forms of that, the IRS form. So you have the taxpayer, the EIN, and then you have another one. Now for businesses, like for all that, he didn't need all the EIN number. He just needed the taxpayer. You can pay taxes a taxpayer. The tax bracket is different. All right. So as a taxpayer, for every $50,000 that you make, you have to pay $50. That's as a taxpayer. All right. But as a EIN, which is a corporation, no matter how you look at it, their tax bracket is different. So in the essence, if us five right here decide to do business, we can have the business as a taxpayer entity, not as an employer or employee.
So I hear what you're saying, and I fully comprehend what you're saying. But the problem is, for me personally, is that you're still talking about submission to the feudal system. Because in the treaty, it states that we're going to recognize them as the most favored nation when it comes to business. So we shouldn't have to fill out no I-9, no EIN, or anything like that as it relates to anything that they're doing. That's my whole point.
No,
I fully comprehend what you're saying.
Comprehending was not entity, is an extension of the person. That's what I'm saying. If you're creating something as an entity, then you have to have a way of bringing that entity into the union of corporations. Now,
hold on.
if
Hold
you
on.
don't now, if you
Hold
don't
on.
want to pay the taxpayers, then
Let me
you
give you an
don't file paperwork.
It's still fraudulent conveyance of language though, because the taxpayer is a domestic corporation.
Hold on. Let me give you all an example. I'm Jamal, right? Rise of the Moors is an extension. It's not me. That is an organization. That is a corporation. It consists of other human beings. That makes it a corporation. That corporation interacts with other people. Hence, you're aware of Rise of the Moors. I haven't filed anything with the IRS.
File?
Anything. So
Aboriginal
that is
Have you
practical application for 3 years.
It's Aboriginal and Indigenous. So because it's Aboriginal and Indigenous, no jurisdiction.
This court papers from the Superior Court of Rhode Island recognizing Rise of the Moors as an organization and clearly stating that it is not registered with them. That is what we're supposed to have, because we shouldn't even
may hold on, wait.
It doesn't
may
matter.
I ask what is your domicile? I understand the corporate whatever, what is your domicile?
North America.
What territory?
Because what you're gonna ask me is what colonial union I reside
No,
in.
I'm not asking what colonial. I'm not asking what colonial union, because no colonial union exists on these territories.
Yeah, but that's who. But
I'm asking what territory.
But that's who's doing the IRS stuff.
Exactly.
No, this has nothing to do with the IRS. I domicile in the Oklahoma region known as the Indian Territory. That's what I'm asking. Where do you domicile?
Oh, okay.
I'm not asking where do you. I'm not asking for your place of address. I'm just asking for your territory.
Yeah, so I inhabit the land called Nahigansett. It's referred to as Rhode Island, which it is not.
Is that the Nantucket?
Nahigansett.
Okay. Now, now I understand where you're talking from. Okay.
What do you mean?
Okay, I understand. Huh?
I'm just trying to gain clarity. That's all.
Okay. So your language. All right. If every territory or region of this native land has a language. You're speaking from your language as a law standpoint.
Yeah, but that covers the board. It's common law.
We
all have the common law right to do business. Even when you look up the definition of business in a Black's Law dictionary, which a corporation is a business, if you're doing commerce or trading, whatever you want to call it, it says business has no legal definitive term, which applies to everything you do. So for them to state we need business licenses, which is permission, we need business identification numbers, we need ITIN numbers, W-9 whatevers, that's completely and utterly unconstitutional in regulating our energy. So
I've never entered in any of their courts.
One more sentence and I'll let you go, bro. And that doesn't just apply here. That's everywhere there's a Moor. Good.
Okay, so I've never entered any of their courts. Is what I'm. So I understand where side you're speaking from. You're speaking from a court lawful standpoint. I've never entered into none of that stuff. So that's what I'm trying to get clarity about.
Yeah, but not even court. Even the form. If it's their form, that's they're claiming the superior position.
Yeah.
And then you're signing onto it. Because you went to their wall. You went to their wall in their building, pulled the form off, or you went to their website, downloaded their form, then that's their jurisdiction because it's their form. Yeah. It doesn't matter what you put on it.
Which is why business really has no definitive term, because they want to construe it to apply across the board, but they don't want to they don't want to give the appearance of it. They don't want to give the appearance that, hey, basically everything that you do in your everyday life is our business. They don't want to come out and say that. And so from me reading the definition of business, the way that I see that, and the way that I put that together in reference to everything that's going on around us, it really has no definitive definition, because hey, they want to get you wherever they can.
So can I add to that? I think that's a very interesting point of view. I wouldn't disagree with it, but my point of view is this: if business has no legal definition, that means everything I do is my business, which means you can't tell me what to do, because now you're trying to dictate my life. It doesn't matter if it's me personally or an extension of me being my corporation that I administer. You're not going to tell me how to do either or. And
right. No.
It's from the mind. No, I'm not disagreeing with you. Just so you know, I just want to add another perspective, because my perspective is it's not their definition. It's them looking at the word itself and then defining it based on what it is. You know what I'm saying? Because too often we say they define it as this or they're seeing it as that, instead of this is what the word is, this is what it applies to. So now I'm gonna conform the law to my will, just like it tells me to do in the Quran that my prophet gave me. You know what I'm saying? That's how we can regain our sovereignty, instead of saying, well, they're defining it as this, etc, whatever the case may be. Instead of saying that, we can use this as an example. Well, according to your laws, Title 26, Code of Federal Regulations 601.602, taxes are voluntary. So even if you believe I have to get your EIN number or whatever to do business, according to your laws, I don't owe you anything.
And I was just saying, and I got you. And I was just saying that more so for perspective for anybody that might necessarily be listening. Listening to what it is that we're doing, knowing, because part of it, a lot of it from what I've seen is knowing the game that's being played. And so knowing the game that's being played, you're in a better position to be able.
So what type of organization is the IRS?
It's not Aboriginal and Indigenous to the Americas.
So if it's not, I'm looking at, so if it's not Aboriginal Indigenous, shouldn't they fall under a crime and punishment clause?
Not when you volunteered them to be here.
Exactly.
Because in 2020, people still bringing Al Sharpton on the stage to talk. So if we're not realizing the fact that our own sold us out to these people, and it's time for us to look within and organize, then this is what we're saying about divert you away from your Moorish movement. This stuff we're talking about had nothing to do with Moorish movement, business and all that stuff. That ain't nothing to do with anything. Everything was already established. All we gotta do is exercise.
Exactly.
All we have to do is exercise. There's nothing that we have to do other than exercise. As soon as we start their forms and their this and their office of whatever and their whatever, you already gave up your sovereignty, and now they got it.
Can I add some reference points for the Moors about
Islam
the IRS? There's the IRS form W4V. If you're still working in that straw man and you want at least some relief, at least a little bit of pressure off you, right? Go to irs.gov, look up W4V. The V stands for voluntary. You'll see on that form, on number 7, it states, when you cross it out, it says, I want you to stop taking federal withholdings from my payments. They don't call it income. It says payments. Then, if you look up, just Google search, the Committee of Ways and Means. This is a congressional committee. The Committee of Ways and Means, March 17th, 2013. And then add the name Stephen Miller. And you'll see on the Committee of Ways and Means, Washington, D.C., on the floor of Congress, the then Attorney General of the state of California was addressing the issue of the IRS having a negative impact on conservatives trying to apply for tax exempt benefits within their system, right? So Stephen Miller was the acting IRS commissioner at the time. The Attorney General for the state of California stated that the payment of the IRS tax system is based on voluntary compliance. And then right under that, because you know how during their committees they have the secretary take the minutes, so they're typing up everything that they stated. The IRS commissioner, Stephen Miller, said, agreed. So even if you want to think about it from you're a U.S. citizen standpoint, you don't have to pay taxes. If you want to think of it from a Moorish standpoint, and you think you're quote unquote doing business in the United States, you still don't have to pay taxes. It doesn't matter what side of the paradigm you're on, whether you know you're a Moor or you still think that you were brought here on a ship as a slave, you still don't have to pay taxes. And there's the laws right there. Now, the problem with that, as it relates to the Moorish nation, is that since taxes are voluntary, our people aren't voluntarily supporting the Moors that are actually doing shit in their favor.
Right.
They're willingly, voluntarily buying packages for X amount of money that's ridiculous. They're
Right.
they're willingly and voluntarily supporting the idiots that can't even that don't even show proof of claim to anything that they state.
Yeah.
That's the problem. And the prophet already told you, if he said your card is 50 cents and your button is 50 cents, but we're dealing with gold and silver at the time, so we already know we weren't dealing with no fiat. So that's a lot of money. And he said, if you can't pay the simple due or responsibility allotted to you, how dare you ask for help in the future?
Yeah.
That's our problem, because we have Moors like Cujo Adwell that's been a pillar, that's been an actual vanguard for years. And people commented on his Instagram saying, stop with the disunity stuff. Meanwhile, this guy over in China literally threatened to take his life. So by you saying that, if you want to, look at it from a metaphysical point of view, you're paying taxes to the other guy that's threatening to kill someone that's fighting for your birthright, because it's still energy.
Or you're riding with the pedophiles.
Yeah.
Instead of the pedophile killers.
Yeah. And it just doesn't make sense to me. All this information has been out here for years. This stuff has been on rvbaypublications.com for years. Still running into the same questions, the same problems. I even have done extensive videos on taxes and how we don't have to pay them. More still mad, commenting on Instagram, you haven't gotten back to me on this tax issue. What do you mean? The information is already there for free. It's almost like our people want us to sell them stuff. Like, no, bro, we're trying to show you these are your rights. It doesn't cost you anything. Start exercising them, because by you exercising them, you're helping me help you help us.
Well, they're still stuck in that. They're still stuck in that follower leader mentality. So when which goes back to
technically the prophet
that nigga.
Hold on a second. Hold on.
The prophet explained it.
That niggas with feds is on.
How you gonna call another Moor a follower when you putting yourself out there as a leader in the Moorish Divine National Movement? Jamal Bey, Grand Sheikh Cujo, you the leaders, so we following you. Don't get mad because it's the Moors that want to hear from you. And they might not want to hear from you just because they want to be the rise of the Moors. They might just want to hear from you because they need to hear from you. I hear from Grand Sheikh Cujo all the time. I hear from Grand Sheikh Cujo all the time. I hear from Nine Feathers Bay all the time. You feel me? So I got love for both of them. You know what I'm saying? But as far as talking about Moors want somebody to hold their hand and want to be no. Don't go there. If you a leader, then be the leader. If you don't want to be the leader, then don't be the leader.
Okay, so hold on. So now you call me a leader, right? Okay, so as a leader, I'm going to say something. The prophet said, if you don't do this small due assigned to you, how dare you ask for help, right? So now let's look at that as a political organization, or as a municipality, or any type of organization whatsoever. If you don't pay city taxes, they don't take out your trash. If you don't pay taxes, your children don't go to school. If you don't pay taxes, those roads don't get paid. So now how is it that I'm saying this is a civic organization? I need help. And Moors don't want to participate, but then they want to hound me as if I owe you anything. I'm saying I need help. If you want these doors to be open, if you want access to me 24/7, I need help. Help is in the forms of dues. Help keep these doors open, because it takes finance to buy seals. It takes finance to buy ink. It takes finance to buy paper. It takes finance to put gas in his car to go to court for Moors. It takes finance to do all of this stuff. So if you're going to recognize me as a leader, then comprehend as a leader, I'm making statements for a reason. Because I could be selling fucking packages. I could be doing a little mock trial, charging fucking $5,000 and say, well, I got proof that I got shit dismissed, and I'm not doing that. So as a leader, since you call me that, you have to respect the decrees that I'm making for the benefit of the organization to keep going.
Hold on,
This isn't an emotional thing. This is the prophet already said it. It takes finance to raise a nation. So if a civic organization is established to teach our people how to run government, not claiming to be government, I'm a civic organization. That's it. I'm not claiming to be your whatever. This is a civic organization, Rising the Moors. So I'm saying if you want this to continue, you have to support it. If you don't support it, it's going to collapse. And that's what. But you know what? Period.
Sometimes support. See, when you a very intelligent, studied brother like yourself, and see you, man, your mind, your brain is like a book, brother. Like you don't even gotta open up your notes and open up a book. You got so much stuff in your brain that you call from memory out of your own databases. See, that's a skill set right there. You feel me? But you know what I'm saying? There's other skill sets too. And sometimes, you feel me, just how you reach out for support, you feel me, and how you treat the people that who support you already have makes the difference with what you're trying to do as the leader, as the person that's leading the forefront, that has the brain power, that has the knowledge to get all this stuff done. And all you need is the support and the man and the, you know, and the manpower, you know what I'm saying, to make it go to the next level. I get that. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes being cool with your peoples on a grassroots level, you feel me, and not bombarding them with all, you feel me, with all of the book knowledge, you know what I'm saying, all the theoretical, I mean, I'm not going to say theoretical, but all the concrete science, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes science is complicated. Sometimes we got to step away from the science and just be brothers. You feel me? Have my back. I got your back. Keep it simple sometimes, and that makes me even love you even more.
Hey, quick interjection. Go ahead. Quick interjection, brother. When you said that, when I was talking about followership, I was speaking more from the standpoint of, again, taking other people's words and running from it, and just running with it, and then, you know, when things don't work out, then that's how people end up with a bad taste in their mouth. I'll be the first one to tell you that when I started coming across certain information and listening to people and trying to get a feel for what this movement was all about, then, you know, I had certain apprehensions as well, based on the fact that I was listening. And then Cujo and I were kind of laughing about it one day that, hey, once I began to take the reference points for myself and go get certain literature, then it became apparent to me that this was the place to go. So when I'm talking about followership, that's not coming from a standpoint of, when I say followership anyway, I'm not coming from the perspective of, you shouldn't reach out to your brother, or you shouldn't reach out to your sister, but hey, maybe you came up on not necessarily a dead end, maybe you stumped at the time, and so you need help to just process it, or you just, like you said, just need to holler at somebody. Then, you know, that's what we are there. That's what we are supposed to be there for. And when people talk about being their brother's keeper, so when I'm in reference to as followership, in that sense, I'm speaking more so from the fact that, hey, you got to do more than just watch some videos, because then that's still in the same state of mind as we were, as most of us were before, in the Negro black colored mind state of looking to some preacher or looking to somebody who sounds good. And I'm not necessarily talking about the relevance of the information. I'm solely speaking about, you know, you have somebody that's speaking with charisma, and it sounds like, and everything sounds good and it makes sense to you based on your experiences. However, you haven't taken the time to research those reference points and solidify that and conceptualize that within yourself, which I see a lot of questions come from the fact that people are listening to what people are saying, but they're not digging into the actual text itself to be able to read, which means to interpret, to come to certain conclusions. And sometimes we need some help when we aren't as studied, or we're coming into certain information. Then it helps to have a brother or sister that you can call to try to wrap things around your head. And so that's what we're there for. So when I say followership, I wasn't saying it in a fashion or dismissing or trying to diss anybody who might have a call and ask a question to a sister or brother based on information they have, or based on information they don't have. I'm speaking from the standpoint of, again, this is not about followership in reference to getting behind somebody and somebody's going to save us type thing. So I just wanted to clear that up.
I feel you more.
One sec, brother Jabari. I was one sec. If the Moors, when they're not talking, if they could mute, that's one thing. And And the second thing is because we got a lot of minds on here, if we could limit our comments or whatever for, you know, maybe 3 minutes or something like that. And also I wanted to add with regard to what Brother Jadari was talking about, when you have when you're talking about the mindset of being more open, right? Somebody like Taj Tariq Bey, you're not getting him on the phone. You're not even getting the opportunity to talk to him. But, you know what I mean? We still recognize the work, and we still, you know what I mean, know that it's not nothing personal like that. Like not trying to reach out on a personal. You know what I mean? It's more the individual. So you're not gonna get the interaction from the leader Kudro that you're gonna get from the leader Nature, or the leader Anita L, or the leader whoever. You're gonna get a lot of different interactions, because as quote unquote the leaders, there's a certain way that things have been done. And what works is what's going to be applied. What doesn't work, we put that to the side because maybe we just don't need it yet. But the reality is that you can't have expectations. Like we tell Moors all the time that, you know, well, you know, the more should be, the more should be, the more should be. No, you can't have expectations of people who are coming from not even knowing what expectations are. There's a certain leeway. You're gonna have to give a certain pass when it comes to certain things, and just recognize that, you know what I mean? Maybe that individual's not at their place yet where they can say, yeah, I'm gonna talk to anybody, because maybe they talked to the past 800 people and everybody played them, and they got
add on to that?
defenses up with everybody now, not just, you know what I mean, one individual. So don't take it as it's personal from the perspective of, how come this good Moor is not, you know what I mean, return my email? Well, there could be 500 emails and you're 300 something, you know what I mean? So just don't look at it as a personal, because once the Moors are doing good work, guarantee that their interaction with individuals, there's not a malice or a negative perspective that is coming from them, even though it might be taken like that from people. But as leaders, our shit is messed up, and you don't even know you don't even know some of the calls that I get.
Can I add to that, please?
You know what I mean? Go ahead, Moore. Islam.
Because I love to use you know, the quote unquote position that I'm in to help other Moors realize what we're dealing with as quote unquote leaders. Because there's been plenty of times where my heart was just open, having, you know, Moors come to my mother's house to study with me, and then later they threatened to fucking murder me, right? An individual, I'm not going to say any names, that I helped get a case dismissed, and then on Facebook now they're slandering me when I'm the reason why you got your case dismissed. I did all the paperwork. You know, the past time we have 50 Moors over here, all 50 of those Moors were at my house. Yeah, I got guns now, but still, you know, I'm one of the most open Moors. It's just when you're constantly dealing with people not only threatening to kill you, but, you know, there was a Moor that came to the temple. He wanted his nationality card, but he was going through some stuff because, you know, a lot of our people have, not a lot of them, but some of our people have, you know, records, you know, of, you know, dealing with prison and stuff like that. So I said, what's going to benefit you now is you renewing that license to get through this probation issue. So here's your fiat back. That Moor must have forgot that I gave him his fiat back. So now he's asking other Moors, as if the word's not going to get back to me, how does he make a dirty Moor page to expose me? So it's kind of like, how open do you want us to be when, as a perfect example today, someone like Sharif Ninefeathers is talking about he's going to cut Cujo's head off, but then you just dropped his name and how you can reach out to him. Of course you can reach out to someone like that. They have no motherfucking morals and principles. What? Name one Moor who's a good leader who's going to threaten to take the life of another of a Grand Sheik publicly, but then have absolutely nothing to say about the FBI COINTELPRO that's happening to this very day when they're known to go into Fred Hampton's house to murder him in front of his pregnant wife. This is what we're dealing with as leaders. It's not just we're dealing with oppression from the colonizer. We're dealing with oppression from our own goddamn people. I've gotten death threats 3 times from Moors, not Europeans, not so-called the oppressor, the big bad white man with the military and the guns and the tanks and the nukes and the fucking laser beams from satellites. I'm talking about Moors. And I know for a fact I'm not the only one as a so-called Moorish leader. I already know Cujo knows what I'm talking about. So as an individual, yeah, I may not be as open on social media because I don't even really like social media. I rather deal with Moors in the flesh. And anytime any Moors come here in the flesh, they'll tell you it's nothing but love. 1, because I learned. 2, I got a gun on me now, so I don't care who you are. I'm good. You can threaten to kill me all day as long as you don't pull nothing out, because best believe I'm pulling something out too. You understand what I'm saying? So once you take your step as a leader, that I know you are, because you're here at this table, at this round table. Once you take your position as a leader, you're gonna see everything we've been seeing, and you're gonna see it from a totally different perspective because you have your own mind, and then you're gonna apply the situation you've been in and the X factor of the unknown and say, I already know these other Moorish leaders have been through something similar. I already know it. You understand what I'm saying?
Now, from the place that I'm coming from, I personally have experienced, you know what I'm saying, the full severity, well, nearly, I won't say the full severity because I'm not a political prisoner and I haven't been killed, you know what I'm saying, by the pigs. But I have experienced severe repression, you know what I'm saying, from the Los Angeles Police Department, from the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department, you know what I'm saying, from involving myself in the Black Riders Liberation Party since 2004, you know what I'm saying, when I was only 22, 23 years old, you know what I'm saying, and I recently, you know, like, got out of that mind frame, bro. I sit on the front line, you know what I'm saying, like, we got to watch a pig program, bro. I'm hopping out in Compton, hopping out in Watts, hopping out in South Central on pigs, fucking with whoever we see them fucking with. You feel me? Doing crazy shit. You feel me? And I watched personally my comrades from the Crenshaw District chapter, you feel me, that went strong from 2004 all the way. That one chapter pushed it all the way to 2012 before they was eviscerated. Feel me? From repression. You feel me? Got my comrades, man. I seen MK Ultra, all that. Comrades' minds gone. People not even the same as they was 10 years ago because of the level of repression. So I know about COINTELPRO. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, Moors are aware of a lot of things that a lot of other of our unconscious people are not aware of. You feel me? So as a Moor, you're definitely aware and knowledgeable of what COINTELPRO is all about. But you also know knowledgeable, you feel me, that you're a free national and they can't come at you the same way as somebody under the 14th Amendment black codes. You feel me? So it's like, even though we know the COINTELPRO is watching the Moors, you feel me, they still can't do the Moors that they do the Black Panthers. You feel me? So it's like we don't have to openly discuss the COINTELPRO, you feel me, on social media, as that's very dangerous to do anyway. You feel me? But I know but some people, you feel me, take certain risks and do certain things that everybody can't do. Okay, Jamal Bay, you one of them people. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? You step out there like that. So obviously, you feel me? Like that's something you willing to take on. You feel me? But that's
more. 1 minute. Go ahead. Go ahead, Mo. You got
like
1 minute.
That's dangerous.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, you know, I'm gonna let y'all go ahead and wrap it up. Then
Islam. Can y'all hear me?
Mo, you got 3 minutes on the thing. Go ahead.
All right, man. Peace to everybody. Shout out to all the Moors, man. This is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful sight right here, man. I just want to say, all y'all Moors that's out there, man, just keep putting in the work, man. And y'all touched about a lot of stuff. And Cujo, you damn near summed it up what I wanted to bring to the table. But basically, in business, man, If a business is known by any group of people publicly, then a business is a business. It's simple as that. Like Rise of the Moors. If we all know about Rise of the Moors, it exists. That's just simple as that. You know what I'm talking about? And we touched the part about leaders, man. Uh, According to the Quran and according to principles of our ancestors, we all leaders. We all got a part. And Prophet Noble Ali said it. If you find a Moor standing around not doing nothing, that's a problem. You know what I'm saying? We share power over here, man. So and another point for some Moors that's listening, like the brothers say, the ones that you calling the leaders and whatever, or the face and all that, trust me, we communicate with each other. Indirectly or directly. It ain't nothing but a phone call. But like he said though, you're not gonna get in contact with these groups of people, these individuals. Why? Because guess what? They working. They gotta work. You know what I'm saying? Somebody gotta do the work. And y'all Moors that doesn't agree with some of the Moors tactics, right? I mean, shit, we all against dirty Moors. But there's more than one way to skin a cat. You understand what I'm saying? In one territory, you might navigate a certain way. In another territory, you might, if the shit work, like Cujo said, use it. If it don't, throw it away, man. You know what I'm talking about? But just to put it on the record, I created RG Entertainment, which is a Moors network. A Moors network. That's basically what it is on Roku, Apple TV, Spotify, Amazon Prime, any more that have content or any business, especially if you got a business and you want me to promote it, holler at me on Instagram and I edit it and put it in the program. I'm releasing it 1 week. It's 360 days, 24 hours. It's a Moorish network. As you can see, it's RG Entertainment, choose more. Um, Other than that, man, we just got to just keep doing the work, man. Just keep doing the work and assist others that's doing the work. But we all leaders, man. We all leaders. All we got to do is just like Voltron, you know what I'm talking about, and get the work done. And there's no female up here. Sorry to say, like the females, they not coming out because they looking at the brothers. You know what I'm talking about? This is their job, really. This not even our job. And if any females listening, please come out the woodwork, you feel me, and take your place. You know what I'm saying? That's why the prophet is holding you, you know what I'm saying, till you wake up. But I'm going to yield the floor. I got some other things I want to say, but I ain't going to, speak long-winded. But any more that say they going to touch Cujo or any active Moors that I know are associated with Cujo and any Moors organization, Rise of the Moors, Taj, Abdullah, RV Bay, Miz, Yusef. I'm just calling some names out there. I'm Amazai Ramondas Bay. You can call me the CNN Moor or whatever, but the rest of the Moors know I traveled this whole planet. You feel me? On my feet. So you can call me a street Moor. Stop making them idle threats, bro. Because I'm out here. And I don't care who you are. That shit do not fly with me. I'm Root grandson. That's all I'm going to say. On the record, for the record, that's not cool. And I'm going to just keep it like that. But just know this more. I ain't behind the computer. I'm in the real world. That's not going to be tolerated. I'm going to just yield the floor and come back, but I appreciate all y'all, you heard me?
Just a lot more. Bro, Yusuf, you got anything about that? Hey, brother Yusuf, you got anything?
Yeah, I'm trying to do it right now. I got you. Forgive me for that.
Oh, you straight. You just muted yourself again.
Yusuf, wake
No,
up.
Islam. I'm just sitting back enjoying the Moors. learning. You
Hey,
know,
you said wake up, stop playing,
that's it.
man.
Just listening. Yeah, it's fine, brother. It was like
Islam, you
it's
already know.
love. I
You
heard
already
this.
know. It's cooking.
Yep,
Dinner almost ready.
yep. I was sitting there vouching too. I was like, yeah, that Moor, he done been all over the planet on his feet, like he said. Been all over.
Islam.
Yep. So I just, sitting back just vouching for all the Moors. This is a great topic right here. Like the Moor was just saying. So it's a lot being out on the table right now, from every angle. But Amazite made an even more perfect point. It needs to be a mother on here. And I was like, yeah, that's the whole part. Because I'm now looking at the screen and I'm like, yeah, it's just a bunch of boys up here playing around. Where's my mother at?
Where's mom's at?
They not coming out because they like, man, look what they doing. You know what I'm talking about? They like, so like on my channel, I'm rolling out number more bites. I got Miz, I got a couple other sisters. I'm rolling them out first, bro. And it's like they not coming out because look what they see. How can they be protected? How can they feel secure? You know what I'm talking about? They got look, bro. They got children, Moorish children walking up to me, and they see I'm in a community, bro. Y'all know I get on the boots, I get on the train, get on the boat, plane. What's up? You know what I'm saying? And they like, where's stuff that represent us? Where's our dogs? Where's our books? Where's our library?
Ask these $5,000 package pedophile Moors. Ask them.
And
That's where it's at.
That's what I
where
be
it's at.
saying. I went to a couple. I ain't gonna spread their name, but half of them regurgitate the stuff that we say, right? That, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we put our own spin. Yeah, we all study from the same, but we got a way of, and they regurgitate. And I saw some of them talking to my baby mom. I'm like, bruh, I talked about that shit on the record with Cujo, Yusef, and then a couple like years ago. And this motherfucker act like he got the. I'm like, bruh. I said, so look, bro. I said, I tell you what, bro. I called him up. I ain't tell him who I was. I used Ramon Zell. You feel me? I said, bro, I want to make a donation, but I would like to do some community work. What kind of community work you got? Cause you selling packages. Like, what you doing with the fiat? You know what I'm talking about? Oh, brother, I don't do that. I said, well, I said, okay, so out of all them packages, how many nationality cards you sponsored? Oh man, they gotta pay for that. I'm like, really? I bet. You see what I'm saying? You can't even like, you're not even doing. You taking it, and then I can see if you was. I really can't see, but maybe just one chance. You was sitting up there and taking it and using it for the Moorish nation. You doing it for personal gratification. You know what I'm talking about?
Which is what the issue is, because it's supposed to be for the nation. And like Drew Ali said, as soon as the robbing stuff starts going on, start being weary. I don't care if the stuff works, still be weary. Because if I'm gonna get a nationality card from a pedophile and it works, why would I want that? Why would I want that nationality card, even if it works?
Islam, who's the pedophile, Grand Sheik?
No, we're just saying that dirty Moors, that's what we're calling them now, pedophiles, since people don't want to pay attention to dirty Moors. And
Oh, I
people
got
want to
one.
pretend,
Okay.
people want to pretend like
I got one on
want to
Facebook.
pretend like we could have unity amongst the Moors with pedophiles in the circle.
Hey,
Right.
I got one.
And the pedophiles are the package sellers. The pedophiles are the Moors who are here causing confusion. The Moors who are talking about whatever they're talking about that has nothing to do with Juali and the Moorish movement and us being where we're supposed to be as Moors. They're pedophiles. That's how I'm looking at them now. So if anybody's with them, just be careful, because that person's a pedophile. If you have children, you don't want to bring those people around your children. Just like Yusuf said, if he's not going to be here as a father and his son has to take on the reins, and when his son goes out, all he's seeing is package selling Moors and all that stuff.
Can I add?
Islam more.
I'm about to have a daughter, right? And what the brother said earlier, the women not coming out front is because there's no men to protect them. So now, as a man, I'm getting death threats, and I'm afraid for my life. So now, imagine a woman. Let's say something happens to me, and now my daughter has to take charge of Rise of the Moors, and now she's getting death threats. Who's going to protect her? Which is part of the reason why I'm so adamant about a militia. And my wife pointed at herself, but she shouldn't have to do that by herself. There should be Moorish men willing to defend who we claim that we love. You know, and there's I seen a Moor who, you know, he has a son, and a Moor DM that Moor saying, "How do we stop oppression?" And this person said martial arts. Now, I personally am not teaching my daughter that you bring fists to a gunfight. Yeah, you have to learn how to fight too, just in case, you know, you run out of ammo and that person runs out of ammo. Now you're on equal terms. But if they're bringing a gun to your house, you better fight back with a gun, not your fist. So now, as men, we can't say, "Hey, yeah, women, come out front and talk this more stuff," but we're not going to protect you. We're going to stand there with fists, even though these people are known to assassinate our people with bullets. You understand what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, it would be great to have, you know, more women out front, but what are we as men doing to ensure that when they go out front, nothing's going to happen to them? Because there's thousands of women, their children being taken by DCYF and Child Protective Services. Where's the men at to protect them? So how dare we as men say, "Hey, women, you're not doing your job," and we're not even fucking doing ours?
Right.
Excuse my language, but we're absolutely not. Because if you're a Moor right now and you don't quote unquote have a quote unquote felony and you're not a gun owner, there's something wrong with you. If you're a man and you got Jordans and not a bulletproof vest, there's something wrong with you. And you better not be talking about you study the art of war and know your enemy and you don't have a bulletproof vest, but you got fucking Jordans. And this isn't a personal attack against anyone. That's principle. You know, we as men can't say, "Where's all the women at?" and we don't have nothing to protect them. And with that, I yield.
Islam.
Islam. Islam.
That goes back to what I said initially. They ain't coming for that reason. You understand? They not. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing wrong with the brother said. You know, and it had to be presented. But you know, these Moors out here that thinking, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's good to study, but I mean, at some point, we're gonna have to do business, bro, to make that a reality.
You're gonna have to do everything.
At some point, to fund all of that, you feel me? To do business, like that's what it is, you know. And a lot of Moors be like, "Oh no, I ain't into that. I'm into this and that." Bro, you foolish, bro. You know what I'm saying? You foolish. I had a daughter. My daughter, 1 year old, right? Had no problem leaving the doggone so-called hospital. And the only reason why she was in a hospital, some of y'all don't know, I was in a car accident. You understand? She was pregnant, and I woke up and had surgery, and my child, the mother of my child, she had surgery, and boom, there go my daughter, and there was no issue. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, we can manifest stuff, and some Moors we don't have to do that because we on a different degree. But at the end of the day, if we don't do business to make that a reality, to secure that, then what are we doing? We could just talk about it all day. All the knowledge without applying knowledge is nothing. You understand? It's nothing.
It's skill sets. It's different skill sets, and we need if we want to be successful the way that we're talking about being successful, then we need to bring in all the different Moors that had different skill sets, because we need all of these things. You know what I'm saying? We need Second Amendment. We need militia. We need nationality.
What Second Amendment is?
I'm just saying. I'm just talking. I'm just talking. I'm saying as far as okay, yeah, we go. Okay, our right to bear arms, bear arms, have a militia. We need passports. We need all of that stuff. I'm just making a point. I'm painting out the big picture. You know what I'm saying? We need all of these things. You feel me? So, and we already got Moors that can do different things, good at different things. You feel me?
But the business though, you see what I'm saying? The business to facilitate that, bro.
But you speaking, but when you just say the business, you're speaking very broadly and vaguely. You got to be more specific.
when I mean business, right? If you don't work or you don't plant, you don't eat, right? So if we not doing business, we can't organize that, bro. Like he said, like Jamal said, assist me, pay for costs, right? So all of these, so we gotta get a business to fund all that, bro. That's what I'm saying. That's how you do that. You don't just go out there and say, "Oh, what you bringing to the picnic?" This ain't no picnic.
Can I add to that, please?
Islam, go ahead.
This is where I try to offer this a solution to the Moors within the Rise of the Moors organizational structure. I made this information available to the people. I did a diagram showing how by you paying dues into the Rise of the Moors organization, just as an example, not saying you have to join my organization. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying as a way to get remedy to the problems that both of you are discussing. I stated, if you want to join Rise of the Moors, you're gonna you start off with your study group and you pay dues. Once your study group turns it into a temple, we're gonna have a distribution list for every Moor within the organization that does business. So now if there's a Moor that sells soap, we're only buying soap from that Moor. So now that Moor no longer has to pay dues as an individual. They're paying dues from their Moorish soap business. So now with that Moorish soap business tax money, that goes into the organization instead of that individual paying. Then we just repeat that process. Once there's enough Moors that's paying Moorish businesses paying taxes back into the organization, now the organization itself, the treasurer, can then allocate some funds to other Moors to start up other businesses. So then we can just keep that going. And then the Second Amendment was brought up. The Second Amendment states this: a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. That phrase, being necessary for the security of a free state, we will not be secure in business without a militia. Because let's say we do business. Let's say we have a bunch of farms, right? And then the Europeans catch wind that, oh, these farms ain't paying taxes. Guess who they sending in? Motherfuckers with guns. So now how do we protect that? How do we protect that business? We can't protect it with money.
And then and on the level with regard to the militia, it's not for a response. Like the militia isn't for so we can respond when somebody does something. The militia is so those people know, oh, okay, those guys they got a militia. Why would we mess with them?
Exactly.
Why would we even approach them about you guys are not paying taxes if they have a militia? There's no need to. So just like when Brother Amazite was talking about with the business perspective, we can't be prosperous in business if there's people out there saying 5,000 a package and people are buying. Because that's supposed to be really our 5,000 that we're supposed to split up to do what we're supposed to do with the Moors that are actually doing something.
Exactly.
Right?
Big facts.
Like the situation when you're talking about for example, Moors doing different things, right? Let's just say there's Moors that are making travel documents. If it's taking you, because if we put in all the conversion stuff and depending on where they're getting these stuff made or whatever, it might be $2 to make that. It might be 30, 40 tops, just like t-shirts. If a Moor has a real high quality t-shirt, the t-shirt might be $40. You start talking about $100 for a t-shirt and then $120 for a sweater or whatever, you're nuts. We know you're not getting it for that. We know you're playing games if you're talking about $150 for one thing. And at that point, you realize that individuals are really working for themselves. They're not working for the nation. They're not trying to get the nation off on a good start. They're trying. Brother Omar always uses the example of we're trying to grow a tree to get fruits, and everybody's picking off the leaves to make tea. And they want to know how come there's no fruits.
Please, can I add to that, please?
Right, Islam more.
Because what you're talking about right now is oversaturation of the market. You know, since these Moors are selling these high price packages, now us Moors who selling stuff as a reasonable price, now we're losing opportunity to actually do more for your benefit, because you rather support the $5,000 guy because you think that their product, since you associate high price with high value, you're gonna buy that instead of the $20 book, when the $20 book is really gonna help you. So now we have an oversaturation of the market, and the people don't realize that they're the market, and then they're wondering why we haven't gone anywhere. When that's the problem. That's why Moors like Cujo exist, to teach you how to think, so that way when you go out and exist, you're making competent decisions. So you can't
Well, we
even
gonna have
wonder
to round them
why
up.
we haven't gone anywhere.
Islam,
That's
Islam.
all. We got
And,
to round them up. We got to round them up. That's all. That's the simple answer. Period.
and to add on to that, and if you are going to make a profit, let's just say on average, if you're going to gain anything, then I think what a quote unquote at the average, if you're going to gain anything, the average would be 30%. So if they selling pheasants at one site for 50, and then it's 110 for the feds on that, then they're damn near making it doesn't make any sense. And so some of this again, that's why I say some people just aren't thinking. This is not really complicated. We're behind some of the issues that we are continuing to address 100 and something years later. A lot of it is just common sense, and our people I see, we're just not thinking, just rational thinking, just plain logic. Some of this stuff is just not even that difficult. On a fundamental level, there's just a lack of thinking and the ability to be able to examine what it is that's in front of you. It just
Yeah,
doesn't make.
that's true. But I mean, hey, be the example that you want to see. They'll lead. They'll follow. If they don't, oh well.
Oh well.
Islam.
They rocking my times, right?
Only a handful say with fingers left over.
All right, I'm out here in Khalifa territory, man. We all need to meet up and get this right. Bottom line. So we need to meet up and sit down and get this right. Bottom line. Pick a spot. It could be on the West Coast. It could be on the East Coast. It could be in the Midwest. Pick a spot. Let's get some plane tickets together. Let's meet up and do this shit like some real bosses. Feel me? Stop
That's a
playing
Moorish
games.
constitutional convention.
Well, I'm there. Send me the invite. I'm there. And Jamal Bey, hey, and Jamal Bey, salam alaikum to you, brother. Hey, salam alaikum to you, brother. Like I respect you 100%, brother, and I fully support you. But I want you to know that you are the #1 Moorish target on them people's radar. They watching you more than they watching any other Moor on the planet, bro. You are the Moor that scares them in Morocco. You are the Moor that scares them in Morocco, because you the Moor that's busting guns. You the Moor that's busting guns every day and talking about COINTELPRO, bro. So I just want to let you know, bro. I support you, but they on your head, bro.
I appreciate it. I know.
They on all our heads, bro. Trust me, bro. We don't deal with them people, bro. You know what I'm saying? We just don't public side all that stuff, bro. We deal with them people on a regular, bro. Some more just deal with them every now and then they fold when they do deal with them.
Well, that's how you gauge. That's how you gauge how much work you putting in, because you're not putting in work until them people is coming at your head. You feel me? That's why you got fake leaders that been around for 60, 70 years, like Farrakhan, these other bitch motherfuckers, because they not doing shit. The enemy ain't attacking. The enemy only lets you get old when you ain't doing shit. You're not a threat. You feel me? They trying to kill you off young when you putting in real work.
And this is why, again, it goes back to the idea of everybody being the leader where they're at. If it ain't 500 leaders, then at least there's one. But everybody being at it, everybody being on the level of competence that there's no dispute. There's no dispute as to what this individual represents. Absolutely none. Because it's going to be done in harmony with. It's just like when we using our nationality cards out here. and we bump into a highwayman, and a highwayman's telling us, oh yeah, we've seen ones like these, but not like yours. We've seen other ones. What do you mean other ones? What do you mean you've seen other ones? Like what do you mean the other ones? And then when they describe the other ones, it's the ones of the dirty Moors. It's the ones of the people who are out here causing confusion. 5,000 for some papers that they
That's
got from
ridiculous.
us for free.
That's ridiculous, bro.
No different than consular court. Everybody's talking this stuff about use them. You can't use them. Why would you use them? That's not the reference point. Now this is a blatant contradiction. How is it that we're going to do our research and find out that UCC is BS, but then these people who are supposed to be your court or whatever for Moors are telling you go file papers with the colonists, and then you're going with them, and then want to know how come Moors have issues, and how come Moors don't want to talk, and how come Moors are so, keep this information to themselves. How come it's private classes or whatever, like the real Moors, not these clowns out here with their commerce classes and package selling classes or whatever. We're talking Moors who have actual real information that would help free you, help save you.
Because we can't put that out there like that, bro, because of the foolishness.
Because of the foolishness.
You know what I'm saying? A lot of Moors be like, bro, I'm like, bro, you know how many Moors that I told the elders be like, Amazon, don't even put it out. Don't even call Cujo about it. Don't even. I be like, bro, I'm like, but they nah. Don't even do it. Because all they gonna do is turn it around and put a price on it.
Facts.
Yep.
Facts.
Yep.
Facts.
Quick.
Can I talk about that real quick? Juju says I'm not really good at being vague because everybody always knows what I'm talking about. But recently, there was some Moors doing mock trial. The people that participated in that to learn something didn't even question for a second, have any of these people actually won a case?
Yeah.
They didn't even question it. And when they got there, did any of those people show them dockets or paperwork that they've actually been in court? Because the 3 people that were up there that I seen, I'm aware of them. And all 3 of them have asked me for help in the courtroom. So why is it that they're doing a mock trial and not me? And then think to yourself, Jamal's the one with the proof of the dockets and the case numbers and the this and the that. So where's their proof? And this isn't to say I'm better. This is to say think anymore. Even me, if I say anything, say Jamal, prove it. That should be a standard across the board for any person that you're going to claim to learn from. That should be a standard. Just like the United States has standards. In order to be a judge, you have to go to some type of law school. In order to be a doctor, you have to go to some type of medical school, and you have to pass. You have to graduate and get a degree and do a dissertation. Why is it that when it comes to Moors, there's no standard? And I yield.
So, and that standard's supposed to be set because Jolly been told these Moors since the 20s, study. So you're not studying that much to not pass. Now you're not studying that much to not make the grade.
You will get
you're not studying to
tested.
fail.
You will
you're going to be tested.
Trust me, you will get tested. Trust me. Any more listening to this, you will get tested. And like I said, I got a couple more can vouch. You will get tested. It's not funny, but the shit funny, bro, because they be doing stuff, bro. They'll study a couple of things. Oh, let me go run to YouTube, bro.
You know how many Moors call me to try to find remedy for some stuff they did with some other Moor? I'm like, hold on. So how come you didn't go to the Moor? How come you didn't go to the Moor who sold you the stuff? Like, how am I trying to figure out what you did with some other guy that you paid $500? Like, how is it that I'm trying to figure that out? Why don't you go to them people? Or they're not answering their phone or whatever. They're not. And these people touch your children and you're saying nothing about it? These people set up the camera in the room to watch your children change and all that stuff, and you're not saying anything? You know that they had the camera in there and all that. You're not saying anything. You're playing like everything's cool with the Moors. We're a nation and all this. When Drew Ali was taking poison out of his food and people chasing him around with a knife and all that. Well, you think he had tank and Moors who know how to go to the army and all that stuff for? What do you think he all that for? For kicks? It wasn't a joke thing. And there's no standard because, again, straying away from the prophet, because he brought you all the standards. Everything in his literature. Have a straight and exact. But we don't want that. We want package guy. We want Noble Drew Ali. We want reincarnated Noble Drew Ali 2020. We don't want Noble Drew Ali nationality card. We want everything else. Like we say, Moors who study already know what's up. And they're going to be doing what is necessary.
Big facts.
Can I add to something real fast?
Go ahead, Moore.
When the brother was talking about how you do practices and other Moors advise, don't even make it public because these agents are going to put a price on it. It's a double-edged sword, because on one hand, we're trying to teach our people the truth so that way they can exercise it for themselves. So, they know that you're not subject to anyone. But then on the other hand, the dirty Moors are going to sell it. But the information still needs to be put out there because that's the salvation. The people taking the information, internalizing it, and then putting it into practical application. And what Grand Sheik Cujo said was pretty funny because it happens to me all the time. Moors will come to my class twice. Now they think that they know law. Then they go back to where they came from, and now they're offering legal consultation. Like, I've been studying this for 3 years. You came to my class twice. Like, what do you? Which again
All
goes
the
back to
time,
our people
bruh.
say our people need to question these people.
Yeah.
Show me proof. Show
Proof.
me case dismissed.
Proof.
Show me where you helped someone else. Show me where you helped yourself. Show me where you helped your mother, since you claim to honor the prophet and the prophet said Moors are men upright, independent, and fearless who care for their loved ones. So if you know all this discharge stuff, if you know all this court stuff, why is your mom still paying the mortgage? Why is your mom still struggling? Why is your grandmother still struggling? Why are your children still struggling? You understand what I'm saying? We have to hold people to some type of standard, not just they look like me, they have a fez on, and they're using some language I heard another honorable Moor use, so now I'm gonna trust them. And we have to stop loading up our shotgun with just information from anywhere and shotgun blasting, and then wondering why it doesn't work in the courtroom, because that happens too. And some people that were at this mock trial were those types of people where they just load anything into their shotgun blast. They go to court with that affidavit, and then it doesn't work because they're shotgun blasting. They don't comprehend that there's a strategy to this. You have to write affidavits a certain way. You have to use certain language, which is basically constitutional language. You can't mix certain things and say, well, yeah, I'm not a citizen of the state, but let me use this statute and apply it to me. They obviously know you don't know what you're doing. So again, it falls back to the people knowing. So that way, when there's anyone within the Moorish nation claiming to be competent or claiming to be a leader, you don't get smacked up and you don't fall into the illusion of this person knows what they're talking about because they say hominis dominus, holius molius, macaronius, and they say Islam every fucking 3 sentences.
And the funny thing about it, bro, they got these Moors out here trying to teach, you know what I'm saying? And like I said, it goes down to the stuff I be seeing most be posting. Bro, the corporation is gone, bro, and you started trying to teach these people strategies that doesn't work anymore because they close one door. They let five Moors go in, one go out. One in, 300, we gonna let 300 through, one we gonna stop. Like, they teach you strategies. The corporation is done. I'm gonna be honest with you. If it ain't our creed and it ain't that treaty and it ain't that Quran, I'm not dealing with it unless it's something to dealing with them just to make them feel appeased and put some of that stuff on there. I don't even stand on that crap, bro. I don't stand. Cujo will tell you They try to take my son. It wasn't happening. I stood on principle and principle alone. You feel me? I got kidnapped and everything. Like I said, some of y'all Moors that's listening out here, keep playing. You will be tested. When you see these Moors that's talking like me, Jamal, Cujo, and I can speak, and Yusuf, because we already been through that shit.
Tried and true. Just like the
We've
prophet.
been through that. It says what? You're going to be tested. By who? Your ancestors, stupid. Like you say you obey, you better know how to enforce law. Period. I'm telling you. I ain't nobody. I'm telling you from personal experience. You feel me? From personal experience, bro. I had Cujo, Yusuf, RV Bay, Saturday Bear in my condo, bro, and I told them I wasn't paying shit up in that bitch. They're like, what? The whole fucking block, just me and my son. You hear me? I'm saying it, me and my son got the whole block saying they under Moorish law. You hear me? Ain't no paperwork was filed. So, you know what I'm saying? When these people be trying stuff and showing them principle and teaching and all that, that don't work no more, man. I'm standing on that treaty. I'm standing on that Quran. That's all I need. And
Islam
already up front. You know what I'm saying?
Islam. And another thing too, Jamal, you kind of speak to it, brother. And I think that I try to stay away from that, because what did the prophet say? Know your higher self and know your lower self. However, just because we have come into knowledge of self, can we speak about that a little? Just because you come into knowledge of self, that doesn't mean that we're being Moors, that we're a bunch of monks walking around with our hands in both sleeves, and that you let people beat up on you, physically or mentally. Yes, we're about love. Yes, we're about truth. Yeah, we're about peace, freedom, and justice. At the same time, one hand, what they say? What do you tell Brother Baines? One hand washes the other, and so not only do we have to enforce in a civil manner when it comes to being prepared for a physical threat as well, then we need to make sure that we are paying attention to that and make sure that we are ready for that. Because I see a lot of people taking a passive attitude as well, as if we are we're not for destruction. We're about love, not destruction. Again, that doesn't mean you let people kick your ass though, and take a position as if by saying that, yeah, I'm going to protect myself, and if you start some shit with me, then it's gonna be something that I am somehow I'm somehow some lunatic or some radical for wanting to protect for us wanting to protect ourselves. And I see a narrative that's, I don't know if it's maybe one of you guys could speak on it, as far as I don't know if it's direct or indirect, as people taking this position as if by saying that if you F with me, then we are going to have a problem. Then I'm somehow crazy, or we're somehow crazy for wanting to protect ourselves when we are under threat. Can we speak about I don't know if anybody else wants to chime in, but I see that going on within the movement too. Do you think? Go ahead.
What's the convention? Because that's what I'm saying. Like, we need to all meet up. All the Moors that's really with this shit.
No.
Meet up. Sit down. Let's meet up. Let's meet up. Feel me? Everybody can get their places they need to help. Okay, we gonna let Jamal run the military. He gonna run the militia. We gonna let Grand Sheik Cujo run this. We gonna let Alcea run it. Like, let's get this shit established, bro. You feel me? Fuck all this playing around.
But
I already know who I want to vote for, so let's go.
But we all goes down to this, like we
no,
said,
ain't no excuse, ain't no excuses. Ain't no excuses.
Ain't no excuses, but we all
no excuses. Been there, done that. Ain't no excuses. Been there, done that.
Right. We all must.
This is not from yesterday. Didn't get done that. Because it's gonna everybody's gonna ride the horse for 1 mile, and then after that
Right,
1 mile, the people want to get off the horse and people want to stop and they want to do their whatever it is that they want to do. That's why,
right,
again, going back to what Brother Jamal is doing with setting up satellites everywhere so Moors could start getting together. Until Moors get together, ain't nothing going on.
right.
We're just like with our jurisdiction, Canaanland. We built with Moors near the corporation of Ottawa, Montreal, or whatever like that. Give them the information. Now they're doing their thing. Got Moroccans running up to them, telling them, "Yeah, you guys are the real Moroccans, not us." Right?
That part.
The
Man,
Moors near corporate city of Hamilton out here. That just like, a couple of weeks ago, did our little thing out there because those are the only Moors there. Give them their little information. They're exercising to the point where they beat deportation and all that. Moors aren't talking about that stuff. They're going to talk about we're being mean on social media and all this type of stuff. Moors aren't talking about the Moor who set out of his own time, get with some other Moors and start the Moorish school. So the children who are in our temple, they got Moorish school to go to. They ain't going to they don't got to go to these people's stuff. And even if they are going to that, they still got their Moorish school that they could go to get their Moorish info. Why? Because we got to get this information to our people that it's not what they've been thinking that it is or what it's been presented to them as. Until you change their mind, you can't do jack with their body. Their body is useless if their mind's not where it's supposed to be. And the best way that their mind is where it's supposed to be, look at the Moors near LA. That day, those Moors just came yesterday. And now they got building and then they got people at the mosque letting them use the mosque to go pray and all this. Like, that's what it's about. Bringing the people into this fold. Get the people there, get their mind right. Once their mind's right, then you can get some stuff done. We keep wanting to do stuff with people whose mind's not right yet.
Right. We already know who mine, right? And on top of that, bro, we ain't saying don't get prepared and do what you got to do in your territory. But I'm going to be honest with you, bro. And some more that might don't want to agree with it or they ain't never got to that level. Bro, when you vibrating, bro, and you on a whole different level, that shit manifest. That shit don't even must come your way. That shit don't like Cujo post the snake, the LaFro ride on the snake. That's how that shit really be. That's how it really be working, bro.
Yeah.
You supposed to learn this. I ain't supposed to be revealing this. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah,
that's really how it works, bro.
yeah.
We don't even see that, bro. Like I promise you, bro. I don't even see it personally, bro. And when I do see it, hey, Mr. B, how you doing? Yeah. All right, cool. You
Not
feel me?
like somebody said in the chat, this is the convention right here.
Right, exactly.
This is the convention right here. And then everybody in the chat is the delegates that are gonna take whatever from the convention, and then you
Right,
go back where you came from and implement what you gotta implement there.
right.
And
Can I
do
address
it
what the
under
brother
the
said real fast?
principles. Do it under Jew Ali. Do it under love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Do it under, you know what I mean, something righteous. And you're not gonna have no issues. If
Right.
not more, go ahead. Go ahead, Brother Jamal.
Thank you. So the brother asked, why is it that when you make the statement of if you mess with me, I'm going to defend myself, and you're dubbed an extremist? Part of that is COINTELPRO. Read the Black Messiah Act. I believe it's their third principle. Their principle is to discredit any leader, first amongst the quote unquote responsible Negro community, then against the so-called white liberal community, and then amongst other quote unquote extremist Negroes. So that's one aspect. The other aspect is fear. A lot of our Moors can't even fathom defending themselves against the oppressor because they see how ruthless the oppressor is. They know that the oppressor ran up on Fred Hampton and murdered him in front of his pregnant wife. They know that the oppressor basically has no morals when it comes to oppression. And since they haven't reached that level of, okay, I am actually spirit, so I'm gonna have to defend what I have, they rather clothe it with their alleged intellect, which is why I dubbed the saying intellectual coward, because they don't want to admit that they're afraid. They don't want to admit that this oppressor is a monster. They rather just say, you know what, that person is an extremist, because it's easier to attack someone outside of you than it is to deal with yourself, because now that's a battle of your higher self and your lower self, which that's a hard battle. So we're dealing with multiple aspects. Then we're also dealing with the aspect of the Stockholm syndrome. We're so used to the oppression. We're so used to how the Europeans set up our lives that when we start talking about defending ourselves, we're talking about dismantling the entire foundation that these people have established for us. It's kind of like if you think of cows. Cows aren't going to attack the farmer because they associate the farmer with food, even though they know they're going to get slaughtered. And I have personally been to a cow farm, and those cows know. I've seen cows right in line for slaughter, and they're talking to the other cows, and they're crying to them. So we're also dealing with that. We're dealing with a big psychological problem. That's what the problem is. And again, it's COINTELPRO, it's Stockholm syndrome, and it's fear. And that's basically the root of it. And I yield.
What about? And I would just, and I just put that out there because, like I said, I see so much of that in reference to even people that are supposed to be woke. And for the record, again, I don't want to. I'm not. No one, me nor anyone on here is advocating for anybody. Any here is advocating for violence. I just see a pattern of our people, even so-called woke, that kind of take a position as if, oh, if we say just because we're Moors and we have principles and we are about doing things in a civil manner, that all of a sudden that apparently that just absolves us from if somebody comes up and smacks you in the face from tearing their ass up. I mean, I don't get it, and some of that I get it. It's some of it is just schism. I just for the record, I just think that that's something too that we can't lose sight of, because regardless of your state of mind, I ask my children, what's the first law of nature? Self-preservation is not the third, the fourth, or the fifth. And so even from a common sense standpoint, it just makes sense if somebody's kicking your ass to put measures in place, preferably in a proactive manner, that allow you to be able to defend yourself under physical, whether it be physical threat or whether somebody be attacking the mental. And so it just doesn't make. I just scratch my head. I scratch my head sometimes.
Just with regards to that, if you haven't read any Amos Wilson books, Amos Wilson has a couple books relating to that, where he's going from the perspective that it could be spirit possession why they're not getting it. Forget intellect and common sense or whatever. That could not even be who you're looking at.
How so? What do you mean?
That could be an entity in a body that already knows they're not waking up. How about waking up? When you look at the zombie movies, there's the one zombie that knows more than all the other zombies.
Yep.
He didn't really lose himself completely. He's not completely gone. There's still some faculties left that allows him to organize them and use them as his militia and all that type of stuff.
Right.
To try to catch these people who don't want to get bit.
Those are the most dangerous ones.
Yeah. The people's mindset is the issue. So Drew Ali says, it's the mental slavery I'm here to free you from. Forget anything else. And we're realizing that it's all about mind. They don't even have a mind to realize that it's about mind.
Right. Because I just can't imagine not doing anything. I've always been hard-headed and stubborn in that manner. I always give the example of, I asked my parents when I was like 9, why, if it's your stuff or if it's our car, then why are you paying? Then why do you have to pay to keep it when it's paid for? And the answer I got was, oh, that's just the way it is. That never sat right with me. And so now, obviously through through learning through this journey, I have come to figure out, no, it's not just like that. Nothing is just like that just because. And so I don't know. I just think about things like that, and just from my perspective, and maybe that's my lack of empathy. I can't imagine. I don't get doing, somebody got their foot up your ass and you just say a little bit further. I don't know. No, I don't.
Nope.
That doesn't compute.
Can I
with
add
me.
on, brother?
Yeah, go ahead.
If I can add on real quick, because you know, I'm in nature a lot now. You know, I'm outside a lot more. You know what I mean? Not just with books all the time. You know, because I started figuring out books is nothing just but people's experiences written down. So I said, well, let me go find my own experiences. So I've been, you know, being more into nature and outside or whatever. And to add on what you're saying, so I'm just watching, you know, so it's a group of baby ducks, and they went past a group. Now the baby geese couldn't even come onto the water; they were still such babies, still, right? All of a sudden, the mother geese comes, and she was gonna kill the baby ducks, and I was just like, wow, you're gonna protect your babies no matter what. I don't care who they are, big, small, nothing. And I was like, man, I wish my people would do the same thing. Like, I'm like, the geese is doing it. The geese was gonna kill some babies. I don't care who it is. We're gonna, like you said, we're outside, but being in nature, you know what I mean? We're outside of nature. I'm like, even the mother geese knows I gotta protect my babies. We don't even put the emphasis like Brother Jamal is doing right now. Protect the people. We're outside of that. And as soon as I saw it, I thought of Brother Jamal and what he's doing. I was like, man, look at all this. It's right in front of my face. I see it. I didn't have to read about it. I didn't have to. The geese told me with her baby ducks or her baby geese. Nothing's gonna get my geese. She didn't care who it was. Babies, elephant could have came. Nothing. She was going to protect her babies. And I was like, man, it was like very interesting to watch that. Like that, we don't, and she don't care. Like I was looking at it fully. Like, okay, she did it by any means. So like, I don't care how they're gonna look at me at the end of this. I don't care what they say in the news. I don't care what they say in my neighborhood. I did whatever it took to protect my babies. And I feel like us as a people, we still let outside influences control how we are going to protect our people. Like, I don't want them to say this about me. I don't want them to be looking at me like this. And it's like, we're outside of nature. The geese didn't give a fuck who was looking, who would nothing. She didn't care what article was coming out, who it was going to say in the news, nothing. She was going to protect her babies. And we too worried about that. Like that was set up. And I was like, man, nature will teach you a lot of things just watching this. Like, because we're so worried about what the outside thing is going to look at us. That's our biggest thing. You know, like, how are they going to look at us? How are we going to be looked upon? No, protect your babies. Stop worrying about what they're going to say, how they're going to look upon us. So like, we're outside of nature doing that. The geese didn't care. She was going to kill somebody's baby ducks over her babies. That's what I'm right in nature. You're not going to harm her babies.
Can I make a quick statement to that?
And Islam, more.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know if I was cutting in and out.
Yeah, they're playing with your phone right now. You sound kind of far and you're crackly. Yeah, you sound a little far and it's crackling or something. I don't know what's going on. But try again. Or
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you're better. Go ahead, Mark.
I just wanted to say the fact that mother goose was willing to do whatever, that's why Lady Liberty is blindfolded with a sword, because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's the Christian mindset of the thou shalt not kill. It's the Christian mindset of turn the other cheek. That's the Christian mindset. Meanwhile, they're in the name of Christianity murdering everybody. So we have to get over that. We can't kill someone in self-defense. When you look up the definition of kill and murder in the law book, they're two different things. Killing is without malice, without negative intentions. That Mother Goose's intention was, I have to protect my heirs no matter what. I don't care if that thing looks smaller than me, because snakes are also smaller than me, and they eat my babies. So, Mother Nature doesn't, Taj says, Mother Nature has no respect for person or station. That's exactly what that is. Lady Liberty is blindfolded with the sword, meaning what? It doesn't matter who you are, what you are, how big you are, how small you are, how attractive you are, how ugly you are.
You're
It
about to
doesn't
get
matter.
something.
Do something wrong, and you're catching the sword.
You're about to get something.
I think I'm guilty of that a little bit, because now that, especially having knowledge of self now, I don't know if you would call it caution, or I'm aware of a little bit more aware than I was initially in reference to what it is that I do, because I know that when I step out here, that I'm not only representing my family, but I'm representing Moors everywhere. And so before I do anything, I've had to take some time back and really think about the things that I do, because I know that, like we have dirty Moors that are sullying the movement with misinformation, and not even just misinformation, how they conduct themselves out here. And we do have standards, we do have principles. And so I can't say that I don't take the mindset of what others think. However, I will say though, it is from from an outside standpoint, because I don't want to do anything that's going to bring any more negative quote unquote attention that we have already, because there's already, the waters are already muddy with dirty Moors, and the processes and the packages and the behavior and where they conduct themselves or don't conduct themselves. And so I am conscious, I'm cognizant of that. And I think that from what I see though, a lot of our people that are worried about what people think is always the people who are, I'm pro, it's blackity black, and then all you hear them talk about in reference to banging on us is the fact that, well the white man said this, but then on the same foot then it's fuck the cracker. So which one is it? It seems like they always, it's convenient, they conveniently take the narrative of the same oppressor that we all are combating in some form or fashion. And so that's interesting to me that, people, they more so care about. Go ahead, brother.
No, that's the picking and choosing. They can pick and choose when they want to do this. Like, okay, I'm a do this because it fits my agenda, but then I'm not gonna do that. Like, they pick and choose. No, you gotta stay straight, narrow with the path you're on. Don't hop. We call it straddling the fence. They're hopping on both sides. I'm pro this, I'm pro that, but then at the same time, you're dissing Moors and not coming at your oppressor. You won't say a word to your oppressor. You know what I mean? Like, they won't go at them no kind of way. They'll just diss Moors. Come at the Grand Sheik. Come at Brother Jamal. You know what I mean? Like, they won't go at their oppressor. They'll come at Moors that's doing the work. People who look just like them are dissing Moors. And then it'll tell you to go participate in them Roman venues.
Which goes back to the same thing with the whole idea of the straddling. Like, it's as soon as you're looking at it from the perspective that, oh my God, they got guns and we already know that you're warped in your mindset, because it's not the fact that the mother goose murdered all the different ducks or whatever. You didn't touch them. You didn't do anything. Didn't even do anything. It's not like he's watching there and seeing feathers of the ducks all over the place because the mother goose tore everybody to shreds or anything like that. None of that happened. It was the idea of self-preservation, and it began with.
You're right.
They didn't do nothing. So as soon as you start having that mindset that, oh my gosh, there's Moors who are, they're talking to the highwayman and they're telling him the law and all that stuff, and you're starting to feel threatened as if something's wrong with that, you have to go check yourself, because you're thinking crazy at this point. You see Moors with arms and you're scared because you think they're gonna go shoot the place up or whatever like that. You're thinking crazy. Because again, you're not gonna say anything to the foreigner who been had guns murdering our people. Nothing. Like, they're actually murdering people with the things that you're saying other Moors who have it, they're a threat. All these Moors doing shooting tin cans or whatever. Threat of what? Threat to who? Shooting a tin can in the woods. Shooting some target in a range. Like, who's threatened? But these people who are murdering people on the street, they have nothing to say. They're going to send their whoever's to cut off Grand Sheik Kudro's head, and they're never going to do anything to these foreigners. And then you're going to go buy their stuff. When that's criminal behavior for them to take that position. For them to take the position to not say anything, not one word to the colonists. They're not going to bring up the colonists at all. They're not going to talk about them. They're not going to, nothing. As soon as more start talking up and start saying things and start being active or whatever, oh, now somebody has some issue. All right. I want to open the floor if more have any closing remarks. This is a great building.
Yeah, it's long. It's just because what you were, just real quick, because it just goes back, because what you were just saying just reminded me of a story. Back in the hanging with my, being around my friend at the time, my friends, but I'm conscious about who we are as a people or whatever. So, but we all still have friends that are into that other life of society, that other life we used to be in, what I mean? They still in that life. So we're together, I'm still I'm on my thing, whatever. So we're building whatever. My ID comes up as a conversation. And remember, the other side of how we all were was that
doesn't ID always come up as a conversation?
Yo, it's crazy, right? But you gotta, all right. But remember, this is the, trap house stuff, all that colored, that time. Person, that's who I'm with. You know what I mean? Because that's where we were at the time. But I'm trying to correct the situation. So my ID comes up, and their whole thing was how they don't feel safe being with me because of my ID. It was the craziest thing I ever been through in my life. Like, I was like, man, something's wrong with our minds. Like, it was like the danger. Like, because I was like, what do you mean? Like, you're bang, bang, shoot them up. Like, what happened? How is my ID making you nervous? You're the tough guy. How's my ID make it? That's just the mindset of our people who saying, oh, I'm off the Grand Sheik's head. I'm like, yo, it just reminds me, I'm like, that's the foolery. Like, you sound like my boy when he was like, yo, I don't feel safe with you with that ID. It's like, what are you talking about? Like, you always in trouble. Like, I don't get in trouble. You know what I mean? Like, what do you mean? Like, you always getting involved with that, not me. So how you gonna feel safe with me when I have my ID? Like, it was just amazing. Like, and it was just seeing slave mentality in plain sight. Like, I was like, wow, this is amazing right here. This is really going on. Like, he didn't want, like, it was like, master, know you got one of those. That's how I felt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and that's the mindset of our people. Like, it's crazy. I'm like, yo, they need to change this whole thing. And that's the other thing too. In the 18, what is this? 18. I'm sorry, 1936 Webster Dictionary, right? The unabridged diction, in this one, in the dictionary of the International Dictionary, right? It'll tell you the unabridged definition of the word war is confusion and strife. And then when you look it up in Black's Law Dictionary, it says it merely means to something about arms or something like that. But it breaks it all down. But it's mind-boggling to see, like, oh, war means confusion and strife. Like, really don't have to touch nobody for it to be war? Yes. Like, this whole thing is like when they be like, oh, Moors are starting confusion. That's war by definition. You know what I mean? Like, you need to start looking at, because I know we like to study about war. You know, I told the Grand Sheik, well, when you just look up the word, it'll tell you, man, it's confusion. And if you're confused, you're losing. And that's exactly what they got the Moors, and they didn't even have to touch us. We're just confused. They're winning the war. The who's going to control the power of confusion, and that's what they're doing. Like, you could just sit there and just listen. Like, you're just like, dang, man, everything's confusion. That's war. You look it up in Black's Law Dictionary, it starts getting kind of deep, man. War just don't mean what we thought it meant. War is, like my sister said, war is, no. I forgot who said it. War is great for business or something like that. Something, you know, because confusion is, if I can get you to buy what's already yours, like, come on, this is yours. But they're getting us to buy it back.
Islam.
You know
So
what I
in a
mean?
Like, Islam, real just quick interjection. So if that means with the confusion going on with our people, and if self is the hardest thing to conquer or to master, then isn't it unnatural to be at war with yourself? I'm just throwing that out there.
There you go. By definition, though. By definition, not what we think it means. By definition, confused. And that's why what the prophet say, study yourself.
Yeah, but principles don't change, man. Principles does not change, man. It does not. It really don't. You know?
Go ahead, Mark.
Islam, you can hear me?
We can hear you. Can't hear Brother Jamal, though.
Oh, okay.
You hard, wherever you're at.
Yeah, man. Islam, man. Shout out to all the Moors, everybody, man. This was great, man. I hope we just keep building. Shout out to the active Moors that's out there, man. Just keep doing what you're doing and just link up with the ones that is doing it. You know what I'm saying? That's exact and right. And like I said, principle doesn't change, man. We still got work to do. You know, it ain't over. You know, but I know the corporation is over with, man. They trying to just save this drowning cat. Let that cat drown. Islam.
Brother Shitme, you got something before we close out?
No, I got nothing. I enjoyed the bill. It's crucial for my sanity too, because where I'm at, like I said, there's not there's not much activity going on, and so
You never know. You never know, brother. You never
that
know.
I know of. That I know of, there's not much.
You never know, bro. You never know, man.
So,
like I said, Islam, though, any Moors that want to be on a RG network, man, hit Cujo up. Hit me up on IG, Royal Gang Entertainment, or just RG Royal Gang. You know what I'm talking about? Instagram, man. If y'all got content, man, good, clean content that we can say, yeah, you know, it was tasteful. The Prophet, you know, okayed it. Man, just get at me, man, and I want to put it together, man. Have our own channel, man, because the press is a powerful tool, right? We got our own network, bro. Let's do it.
Islam. I got nothing. I'm good. Islam to the chat. Islam to the chat. Yusuf over there getting apples.
Islam was brother Jamal's thing was messing up, so he just said his mic was choppy, but great build. And to add on to what Yusuf said about war and confusion, that's why it's treasonous for Moors to spread lies. It's causing confusion in the minds of our children, which cripples the nation, which is another reason why the punishment for treason is death. Islam. That's what pedophiles supposed to get. Just everything makes sense. Everything makes sense. Islam to all the Moors worldwide. Peace to the Moors in the chat. Honest to all the mothers. Honest to all the mothers. You know that it's an uphill battle, but we're about 3/4 of the way up this thing. So keep your foot on their neck. Islam to all the Moors on the panel. And I think I'm going to see if this thing works again. Doesn't look like it's going to work. Because they've been playing.
Like they always do.
Yes, they play.
Yeah, let's not get kicked off YouTube today.
They play. Peace and love to all the Moors worldwide. Islam to all. Let's see if this thing works. They're really killing it. It is taking it. Islam to all the Moors. Oh, looks like it's trying to do something.
Canaanland Moors and the music component of this, to me, as I was saying to my brother here, this is all representative of the ancient sciences, which brought us back or reawakened us to the art forms and the things that made us who we were. Because it says that we as humans fell. We were in disharmony, right? That's why we fell into the form of flesh, right? Because we weren't in harmony. And music is harmony. Like they say, leave them wanting more.
Mind elevation. Canaanland Moors. Mind elevation. Canaanland Moors. Mind elevation. Canaanland Moors. Mind elevation. Bench 500 pounds of knowledge. My mental squad keep my mind kick strong at mental devil's back. Never heard of them, they like
to test the weak minds. Yellow journalist propaganda like a slow grind. Big dicks hard with screens, trannies cracking women's skulls, fighting in the women's bleed. We told you there's an agenda you want to believe, no faith, fruition falls like a leaf. To raise your mind state, you can't take a leave. No purple drinks or molded dispensary weed. Buckle down, create a library. Blacks don't read, learn how to study. Open chakras, watch your nose bleed. High at the feet of metaphysical masters. Young El Man book before